Yep, it's that date again. Welcome to Free Talk Friday. Yay! How are you all doing? I, myself, am doing quite well. And I might have sort of solved the connection issue with me and my phone. I'm not sure. I might jinx myself this stream, but I've noticed that already. My connection, my avatar is working a lot better than usual. And I think that's because I had a lot of apps running in the background, particularly like my internet browser and stuff. So I think that might have affected like the way my avatar worked when it was connecting to my phone. Oh, great, it's freezing up again. Well, now it's not. Great. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that you're all doing well so far. Yay. I'm glad to hear that you're all doing well this week. I hope that's the case for everyone here right now. Yeah. Yeah. So as for what I've been doing this week, I had a couple more midterms. Yeah. So like today I had one of my art class midterms where I just showed what work I was doing during the week. And what else? Let me see. I don't think I had anything else that was a midterm, but I do have I have another art midterm coming up next week, and of course, there's that nutrition exam that I keep on mentioning. I'm finally having the actual exam on Monday, so I'm making some final preparations for that, and I'm just hoping it will go well. It's going to be like a multiple choice test and some matching up stuff, so I'm not expecting it to be too taxing if I do like the kind of required studying and stuff, but honestly, I'm not, I'm gonna be careful and just do some good studying this weekend. But yeah, no, I'm glad to see you're all here and you're coming to watch me talk. Now on to the next thing. So so those of you who have been following my channel kind of intently have noticed that how do I put this? I've been uploading certain new series of videos, shit posts. So now that we're in a talk section, I'd like to I'd like to ask, what do you think of them? What do you think of them so far? Personally, I think out of the three I worked on, I liked working on the Among Us one the best. That was really fun. The comedic timing for me was really funny, and I really enjoyed releasing that one in particular. But I enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed working on those videos. They were a lot of fun. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, it caused you immense psychic damage? Great. I'm glad they're working as intended. Well, I've got some great news for all of you who like those videos and who want more more psychic damage. I'm working on a longer shitpost that I'll hopefully be able to release by sometime next week. I just did a lot of animation for it today, and I've done some timing stuff for it yesterday. But, if you've been seeing like a certain meme song, going around on TikTok and stuff, you'll know what it is. I did like a short cover of it. So you'll be seeing some high quality animation with it soon enough. Not a wink. Let me try that again. Hold on. Wink. Hello, Mr. Comb Jelly. I'm doing well. How are you? How was your week? Nope, it's not actually Kaliki Takati. It's more recent than that. Actually, Kaliki Takati was more of a meme that was popular towards the end of 2020, early 2021, I think. This one is like super recent. If you might have seen like a couple of other streamers and VTubers and stuff cover it, but I'm gonna keep it vague until I drop it. I'm gonna keep it the video vague until I drop it. It's been 10 years since I last saw a McNuggies meme of any form. It's ancient. Yeah, no, it is. I remember seeing that meme around when I was, 12, 13-ish? And I didn't really get it at the time, but now I just find it really funny. I feel like it's one of those memes that kind of has evergreen status. It has like evergreen meme status. And I feel like it's up there with like Rick rolling and running in the 90s and stuff as like, as like eternal memes. I also think, yeah, as Dave rightly stated, it's probably because of like VTubers reviving a lot of memes too. Like I noticed that some VTubers are reviving some real ancient real ancient ones from the very depths of the internet. And so that's been kind of interesting to see. The grimace produces immense amount of pains. Great! I'm glad it's working as intended. I plan to do even more of that content, so I plan to bring even more pain. Why is the troll face coming back? Because it's also an evergreen. Why is the troll face coming back? It's an evergreen meme. The troll face is funny. It will never stop being funny. Like, you look at, I don't know, you look at troll physics and stuff like that. That's the funniest shit I've ever seen. Troll physics is like peak humor. Yeah, and then combining that with like the surreal internet humor of the 2020s, and you got some real gems. You got some real gems. Yeah. Let me think. What else has been on my mind of late? So, yeah, while I was working on that, certain unmentioned video, I had to, like, go into Clip Studio and, like, properly use the, animation, function. And to be honest, I now, how do I put it? I now know how to work around the animation system. Like, the first time I went into Clip Studio and I took a look at the animation system, I did not get it, like, at all. Like, I didn't know how to copy and reuse frames. I didn't really understand how the timeline worked, etc., etc. But, I feel like this animation thing I worked on today, made me feel more confident. So, hopefully, like, if this next video is received well, I might be doing more, like, small animations with my videos, because I find making animations quite fun. Yeah. I mean, it's not the first time I've animated ever. Let's be clear here. It's not the first time I've animated ever, but, it's the first time I've animated properly in a while, and it's definitely the first time I've, like, animated with, like, several different layers, counting towards different things, like, one layer for the eyes, one layer for hair, one layer for clothes, etc., etc. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm putting a lot of effort into this next video, so I hope that you'll take a look at it when it comes out. Yay! By the way, I finally bit the bullet and made a Twitter account. The place is a labyrinthine mess, and I am so confused. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. No, Twitter is kind of a mess in general. You have to, like, if you want to get around and make friends in it, it takes a while, like, to, like, build your own communities within Twitter, it kind of takes a while. Content creation is hell on there, too. Like, you post something to Twitter, like, art and stuff, and it has, like, a day-long shelf life. Very rarely does it extend beyond that. Because, like, if you post a piece on Twitter, it's basically not going to gain any more attention the next day. So either you have to repost your work a lot, or you have to retweet it and bump it a lot for it to continue gaining attention. And it's really frustrating as, like, a content creator to just have to continually do that in order for my art to gain attention for my yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's no one you can actually put art anymore, except DeviantArt, which people don't use. I've seen some of my mutuals move back to Tumblr and stuff, because Tumblr's better with the whole art longevity thing, and I agree. I've been considering for a while to, like, remake my Tumblr blog and, just kind of put it up as, like, a more permanent gallery space and stuff. And I like the fact that you can customize your Tumblr blog a bit more than you can customize your Twitter profile. But at the same time, Tumblr's kind of a semi-dead platform. There's the whole issue with it and and its very faulty, flagging system, etc., etc. But, I take the extensive tagging system any day over, like, whatever Twitter has right now. Also, yeah, like thank you for the compliments on the Holy Grail animatic. I I really loved working on that animatic. It took a lot of work and like combining in Premiere and Medibang and stuff when I was working on it 2 years ago or something like that. But I still feel like the timing is really good, and I feel like it holds up still pretty well. I've been considering doing like some sort of sequel animatics to it too, because I'm still very passionate about Fate. If you've, I still have a very big passion for Fate, so I'd love to kind of contribute more to like this Monty Python Fate crossover series of animatics, or alternatively like work on some other Fate themed animatics, like well, like ones to like some pretty funny comedy songs that I like listening to in my spare time. I'm not gonna be specific about them because I think they're going to be it'll ruin the surprise of like why I picked those songs to begin with. But yeah, I've been considering returning back to them and stuff. So I might do that. I might do that if I have the time. My biggest issue with Twitter as an art medium is that all art slides away so fast. Some artists make art accounts or galleries, but still. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. Zahir, but yeah, Twitter causes art to have like a very very small shelf life. It has a very small shelf life, and so it's like just very different, kind of different, difficult. It's very difficult to promote yourself on that platform. Yeah, which is kind of a shame because like Twitter is where a lot of the artists hang out right now, and it's where a lot of them kind of make their name. So it just kind of sucks big. Earlier, I was listening to actual Cannibal Shia LaBeouf, and YouTube interrupted me at the right time, so it just said, "You're walking," and then stopped. You're walking. That must have been some pretty good timing, if you asked me. YouTube, it's annoying when YouTube buffers, but I have to say that's some pretty errors. Oh, hello. Is your name Piero F Fualado? Ohayo. Ohayo. Watashi wa Mado desu. 私は、私は、cactus の、妖精です。ありがとう。Thank you for watching my stream. My Japan 私は私の日本語はちょっとシンプルです。でも君はとても優しいです。ありがとう。ありがとう。私は嬉しいです。So thank you for coming. Thank you for coming along to my stream. I really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. Aww. I really appreciate you sticking around. I really appreciate you sticking around for a bit. Japanese is like is a language I have a very very basic grasp of, but I really do want to learn it more. That's actually something I would really really like to do in the future. Actually, something I'd really like to do in the future. Learn some more Japanese so that I can get a better grasp of it, and so that I can communicate more with my Japanese fans and other Japanese VTubers too. I feel like it would really help me in the long run because I'm just a huge I'm a huge fan of a lot of Japanese works and stuff, and so that would mean a lot to me to learn the language a lot. Do I have yeah, no, I'm considering doing a learn Japanese stream actually. That was one of the that's actually something I'd like to do in the future, like for just like practicing Japanese on a Duolingo together and seeing what I can learn. More diversifying my content, learning more languages. Like, it's not enough that I know Chinese, I know French, and a bit of German. Gotta add Japanese too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Arigato. Do I have issues with anxiety? A little bit, yeah. I feel like it kind of stems from my personality a bit. I'm a bit shy around meeting new people and stuff, and so like when I get to meet when I meet someone I admire, or when I have to do something, when I have to do something I've never really done before, I get kind of nervous and I start speaking really fast. You can actually see that a lot in my debut stream all the way back. Like, in my debut stream, I kind of stutter a lot. And, how do I put it? I say a lot of things over and over again. Oh god, I'm doing it again now. So, how do I put this? So I start like umming and erring a lot, and I lose my track of thought quickly. So yeah, I do have an anxiety thing going on with me and stuff, and I've been doing things to kind of mitigate that things, but sometimes it pops up now and then. Yeah. Learn Klingon or Lord of the Rings Elvish on stream. Study Hymnos stream. Actually, a conlang stream would sound kind of fun. I would like to, just like focusing on different conlangs. I would really love to study Hymnos. That, I think, is the conlang I'd really like to study most, because, I really love the Artonelico. I love the Exapico soundtrack a lot, and so, like, I'd really like to get into it seriously. Yeah. God, actually, let me go and see if I can find if I can sing. Let's see if I can sing a little bit of something. Exec Harvestasia. Let me see if I can sing a bit of that. Hold on. Let me put this. I'm just pulling up the lyrics right now so I can sing it properly. Let me see. Raki raki ya inya Rikira pateyo asia Wasiera kismeyo enfo Makiga kismeyo yersiak Da diddy da da daddy da da day and on the yeah Ninanya akata asia imes power entitilia volinte cavesigel defao and Q Selena Adonis Havestasia and Falin del mio Ransase Imene Amauda Mayumiko Havestia Sekuken no Tsuki no Yodo Takanai Gai wo shita 風抜ける丘のね二人目で歌えと四月君の明日は結びの浮きさめ I can't remember the rest. It's been so long since I listened to the song. I I would love to sing. I would love to sing more of Akito Shikata's songs and stuff. Like it's been a while since I've sung since I've listened to her songs. So yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, sure, Dave. Please go ahead and clip that. I would love for people to see me I would love people for to see me sing. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yay. Actually, you know what? Since I'm in the mood to sing, I might pull up another song that another song that I by Akito Shikata that I really want to sing properly. Let me see. Mm. I really like this song because it's a combination of Japanese and Italian and stuff. And I feel like since I've been trained to sing Italian a lot, and it has this very operatic like feel to it, very operatic timbre to it, I really enjoy singing it. Anima ephemera che ti tieni profonda dell'interno che incontrato ad aspettare nel bosco deserto. Privato di un'ala, l'uccellino chiuso, gli occhi in silenzio, la sofferenza è snata, la nanetta lontana, ora uccellino non piange più, una morbida nebbia d'argento, una morbida nebbia d'argento, avvolge teneramente ogni cosa. Riposo, riposi in pace, ne racconto che ho la libertà, ecco il mio ultimo incantesimo, affinché la tua luce non conosca ombra. That's another really beautiful song. That's I think the ending song to Umineko no Naku Koroni, the ending song for the visual novel, specifically I think the eighth episode. I haven't actually played through the entire visual novel yet. I've only read like the first two. I've only read through the first two episodes in the manga version, but I own the visual novel, and I'd really like to play through it someday. I hear that the I'd really love to sing that. I'd really love to sing that song properly someday. Actually, looking at the lyrics, I realize now. I said earlier that Rico Dando il Passato had both Italian and Japanese lyrics, but I'm wrong. It's entirely in Italian. I'm wrong. I must have been confusing it for Katoyoku no Tori, which is the opening of Umineko, and that song has a combination of Italian and Japanese. I would really love to, yeah, I really would love to get into Umineko more seriously because, I'm a big fan of a lot of the visual novels. I really love Fate Stay Night and Kinoko Nasu's works a lot. And so I'd really like to expand my tastes with a lot of visual novel stuff. And I feel like, the best next step would be to get into a lot of Ryukishi's works like Higurashi, Sisonia, and Umineko, of course. There's also another horror visual novel that he wrote too that looks pretty interesting too. Hold on, let me find what it is. It's something Hime. Let me see. Ryukishi Hime. It's on Steam right now, and I've been hold on. Ryukishi, let me see. Ryukishi's works. Oh, seventh expansion. What are the other ones? Whoop, wrong one. Let me see. Ryukishi. Let's see. Career. Works. It's Iwaihime. It's Iwaihime. That's another one I kind of really want to try out getting into too. Like, I hear that it's very horrifying and it's very it's quite horrifying and quite disturbing in parts, but at the same time I really like a lot of horror aesthetics and stuff. I really like a lot of horror aesthetics. So I might consider getting into it, but I probably won't be playing it in the dark or like late in the evening or anything like that, because I get kind of scared very easily. That's kind of also why I don't play a lot of horror games, like say Phasmophobia or stuff like The Witch's House or Ao Oni and stuff, because I get scared like really easily. I feel like my limit with horror games is stuff like Omori, because Omori does have horror elements, but it has a lot of stuff that balances those horror elements, and a lot of those horror elements kind of just kind of get they're kind of balanced out by kind of the cute and funny moments and kind of more sympathetic moments too. And I guess also a lot of the super horrifying stuff is optional in the game, so you don't have to experience it if you don't want to, which I appreciate. Yeah. Let me think about what other ones too. Gigi, what horror story was that by chance? What horror story was that? I'm interested to hear. Which horror story is that? I'm curious. Which one is it? Oh, Sweet Home. Sweet Home. Is that the Korean movie? The comic? Which one is which one is this? Hold on, let me see. Sweet Home. I think I've heard about it before. Sweet Home. Oh, okay, so it's a TV series. It's based on Sweet Home. Oh, so that's how I've heard of it. You know, Sweet Home's actually based off of a webtoon. Sweet Home's actually based off of a webtoon that's currently running, I think, on Webtoon right now. And a lot of people have. I hear that a lot of people in the horror side of Webtoon have really been recommending this, Sweet Home because of its, like, really strong horror content and stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in, like, if you're interested in the TV show, but you want to see how it adapted from, like, the comic version, like, then I think checking out the manhwa on Webtoon would be good too. Which reminds me, I actually have some horror. I have some horror Webtoon recommendations myself. I think the biggest recommendation I can give is like the biggest recommendation I can give is any of A. Raisin's works, particularly his story Melvina's Therapy. Melvina's Therapy is like another kind of horror comic where, like Sweet Home, I'd say, like, it has every conceivable trigger warning. It has every conceivable thing you need to look out for before watching it. Like, you name it, it's there. But it's also a really good horror story because it takes, like, place within it like explores a lot of psychological phenomena within these, like, horror phenomenon and stuff. And, like, it has a really good arc. The titular character, Melvina, is a really good arch villainess. She's a really good villainess. And, like, it's a really good female-led horror comic, so I recommend it. And it talks about a lot of social issues pretty well, too. So I recommend that. And if you end up really liking Melvina's Therapy, then you probably want to go on to see Grimoire Land as well, which is like the webtoon that A. Raisin is currently working on. It's another horror horror webtoon, as well, called and it's about like these a bunch of teenagers who go to a theme park, a mysterious theme park called Grummery Land, and they kind of are forced to kind of confront their pasts and like their relationships with each other within that theme park, and they kind of like it's pretty gruesome stuff as well. But I really like the kind of spooky theme park theme. I would I would definitely recommend it. I would definitely recommend Grummery Land too. I'd say that sometimes it can get a little bit on the nose with like what its themes are about, or with like, you know, talking about it's more on the nose I feel than Melvina's Therapy, about like the social issues it talks about. It feels a little more ham-fisted, but I also appreciate that it's more of a, you know, it has a very different setting and set of characters from you know, from Melvina's Therapy, and so I always find and so I find it like very so I find it like a very breath of fresh air. Also, yes, like with regards to like Melvia's Therapy looking terrifying, it is legitimately terrifying at parts. Like there's, I mean, it didn't give me nightmares because, you know, the good thing about like reading a webtoon like it is that like you can scroll at your own pace. You can scroll at your own pace, so you have kind of a choice when to encounter the horrors that are depicted within the comic or not. So you can take your time and stuff. It's really under your control, which I appreciate. But at the same time, it doesn't stop. Like some of the stuff is quite can still be quite scary regardless. Grummery Land looks like something I would be I won't be brave enough to read. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I feel like, you know, I feel like Melvina's Therapy is a bit scarier than Grummery Land. I feel like Melvina's Therapy is the scarier one out of the two. Grummery Land still has some pretty scary parts. I think the scariest part is regarding like the character Bruno and the kind of the hallucinations he sees because of his past issue and stuff. But other than that, I don't find Grummery Land as scary as I found Melvina's Therapy. It's still a good thrill though. It's still a good thrill. I'm interested to see how the plot threads are all gonna tie up and stuff. Let me think about what other recommendations I have for webtoons. Actually, we're gonna kind of transition into like talking about webtoons in general. But in terms of more general webtoons, like a good kind of like more comedic and sweet comic I recommend is Cursed Princess Club. And I feel like I have to recommend that comic a lot because like the writing is very spot on. Like if you can get past like some pretty rough art in the early days of the comic, you've got a really well written comic. Like it's better written than most of the webtoon entries you're gonna um it's better written than most of the webtoon entries you're gonna see every now and then. Like the characters feel well realized. It's a fun parody of like fantasy princess tropes and stuff. The main character Gwen is very sweet, and like all the characters are very nice. It's a very warm and sweet comic, and also very funny too. Like I recommend it if you want something to just cheer you up after a bad day. I highly recommend Cursed Princess Club. Another comic I have a, you know, strong recommendation for is this is one that is recently coming out, but every Thursday, but it's a comic called Pyramid Game, and it's like very recent. So like the episodes are like how do you put it? There are very few episodes out right now, but what is there is like really good. So basically it focuses on the story about this girl who goes to this high school and stuff, and she gets put into this class called the Happy Classroom. Yeah, sure. You can call me Mado-chan. Arigato. Arigato. uh so to continue on about Pyramid Game. So she gets put into this classroom called the Happy Classroom and stuff. And the Happy Classroom kind of consists of all of these like super talented like gifted students in this school. So they're allowed access to certain privileges that most of the classrooms are not. But because of their status as the happy classroom, they also have this kind of thing they do every month called the pyramid game, where they kind of vote, where members of the classroom like send out vote for each other, and the person who gets the least amount of votes get, and they all get ranked different grades depending on like how many votes they get, and the person who gets the least amount of votes gets designated F rank. There's only one person who can be designated F rank. And so when they get designated F rank, they kind of get picked on. They kind of get picked on by the rest of the class without any consequences and stuff. And the other class members don't, the other class members don't have to worry about anything. It's not like Danganronpa because no one dies, but it more focuses on like issues of bullying and stuff like that. And really what the main character of the story, she kind of like is going out of her way to try and befriend the sole F-ranked member of the class. And she's trying to kind of overturn the entire pyramid game and like try and destroy it from the inside out. So that's kind of the plot of the story right now. And the reason why I really like the comic is because the protagonist, she's really interesting because she's not like perfectly nice or anything like that. She's willing to use underhanded tactics and she's willing to manipulate other people in order to expose the system from within. Danganronpa is a really nice game. I played the first I think I watched a playthrough of the first Danganronpa, but I never went through Super Danganronpa 2 or New Danganronpa V3. I definitely want to check it out because I really like the character designs for Danganronpa, and also like I like the executions a lot too. I know this is weird for me to say because a lot of the time the executions are like really sad, like contextually within the story, but for me they're like really creative and stuff, and they're kind of very over the top in a weirdly appealing way. Yeah. So yeah, I do think Danganronpa would be something I'd like to go through too, and hearing it's another one of the big visual novels a lot of people like, particularly like I know Kinoko Nasu really likes the Danganronpa series a lot. It's he's a big fan of Kodaka's work in general. I definitely have got to check it out. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm pretty much the opposite of Gap Moe. Like if Gap Moe is like scary character who's into like cute things or behaves cutely in private, I'm like cute character who's into kind of horrifying stuff. Horrifying stuff behind the back. Yeah, in Gap Moe, indeed. Reverse Gap Moe. Actually, speaking of Kinoko Nasu and visual novels, by the way, yeah, y'all heard about the Tsukihime remake? I mean, I mentioned this before. I don't know. I probably mentioned this before when I was waffling off about Type Moon stuff. But, I'm really happy the super cute. How do I put it? I'm really excited for the Tsukihime remake because it's been a long time coming. It's been what, 15 years since it was announced or something like that? I don't know. No, it's been 10 years or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I would really like to play the Tsukihime remake because, I've wanted to get into that side of Type Moon for a while, and since it's probably being released for Switch and stuff and likely going to be released in English too, I see no reason why I wouldn't want to support Type Moon and stuff. Type Moon is like probably my favorite visual novel studio, so I want to give them all the support I can. Speaking of supporting Type Moon too, I also want to get Fate Extra Record whenever it comes out. I think it's supposed to come out like this year or something like that. I'm not sure. But it looks really good. Fate Extra, I played through the original game, on an emulator and stuff. And I really want to play through it again because the updated version looks so beautiful. I really love Fate Extra a lot. I'm so excited for it. And I'm also hoping, too, that, like, if enough money goes through Fate Extra Record, then it will fund, like, a CCC remake. And I want to play CCC so bad! Like, it's the one Type Moon entry I want to play above all else. Like, forget, like, I don't know, forget FGO, forget FGO, forget Fate Apocrypha. I would really like to play Fate Extra Record. I think, Piero, I think that, the Tsukihime remake is coming out this summer. I think it's coming out this summer. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. I hope I can buy it and play through it. I really want to play through Tsukihime. Also, what I find interesting about the Tsukihime remake too is how much effort has gone into like remaking it. Like the new sprites, the really gorgeous backgrounds. I think the probably redone the fact that it's fully the fact that it's fully voice acted too, the fact that well, everything is being really remade from the ground up. You can really tell that Nasu and Co put a lot of effort into making this game as polished as it could be. He's a really hardworking guy. I really love yeah, it does really scream money. They've been putting that FGO money to good use, as well as for like the Babylonia anime and for like the Camelot movies too. Gotta watch those. God, there's so much Fate I need to catch up on! Actually, speaking of Fate, another Fate thing. So, I don't know how much of you, how closely you've been following FGO Arcade or anything like that, but you've heard about like the new storyline with FGO's take on the Jerusalem, FGO's Jerusalem storyline, yeah? FGO's Jerusalem stage and stuff, how it's quite different from the FGO's Camelot stage, like FGO Arcade's Jerusalem stage, and how they're really hinting at like there being a different final boss in FGO Arcade to the final boss of FGO Mobile, who was Goetzia or Solomon. So I'm kind of interested to see where this will go. I'm kind of interested to see where the arcade storyline will go, because I'm pretty sure that from the hints, the main villain of FGO Arcade is Mother Harlot. And if that is the case, I'm gonna be super excited, because Mother Harlot is the one character in FGO that I've been waiting for ages, for I think 3 years now. Like I've been waiting for her for a long, long time. And so I'm really excited to see how they're going to render her in the game, like both in FGO Arcade and in base FGO, since she's been data mined there as well. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. Have fun playing Apex, Piero. Have fun. I've heard that's a really good game. I might try it someday. Like, I've never really done MOBA shooters before, but I really love I really would love to try it out, because I've seen a lot of people get into it and say it's like really fun. Yeah. FGO Arcade makes me feel so sad. I just want to prototype Merlin. I mean, I don't blame you. There's a bunch of characters that they have as FGO Arcade exclusives that they haven't released in base FGO, like Santa Suzuka, Santa Suzuka, Santa Helena, what else? Who else? What was it? Sita, right? Sita, Jacques the Mollet. Yeah, those are all the exclusives I can think of. But yeah, the big one I'm waiting for is Mother Harlot. And, if she does end up being an FGO Arcade exclusive, I'll be very mad. But I highly doubt that's the case, actually. Like, I don't know how much, I don't know how much people have been studying their Type Moon or something like that. I'm probably just very deep in this franchise, as you can tell. But, how do I put this? In mobile FGO, they've been hinting at Mother Harlot appearing there as well, and let me explain why. So, spoilers for the 5th Lost Belt. For anyone who has not played yet, plug your ears temporarily. So, in the 5th Lost Belt, there's a conversation between Koyatskaya, who we know is an offshoot of Tamamo, and Aphrodite. And they're having a conversation about the 6th Lost Belt and stuff, and about beasts, kind of in the vague type moon way. Um, and how do I put this? And so Koyatskaya brings up, okay, so they're have you noticed something like in Lost Belt 6? And Aphrodite is like, yeah, I noticed that there is a presence similar to mine in the 6th Lost Belt. And Koyatskaya is like, yeah, I've noticed that too. But she explicitly refers to the presence as Venus rather than Aphrodite. As Venus rather than Aphrodite. And this is kind of a big warning hint because Nero in Fate explicitly uses Venus as like a figure she heavily relates to. She uses Venus as a goddess that she heavily relates to, that she wants to evoke. Like one of her costumes is called the Silk of Venus. Her car is called in Dead Heat Summer Race is called Red Venus, and she has a form in Fate Extella called Saber Venus, and she just talks about how much she really likes to she talks about characters who she talks about how she really wants to be like Venus all the time. So yeah, she wants to be like Venus all the time. So from Koyanskaya's comments on the 6th Lost Belt, it can be inferred that there's a Venus presence in the 6th Lost Belt. But that's not all. That's not all. Arturia, Caster Arturia, Pendragon, also has a couple of suspicious lines as well, and we know that she's going to be a very significant character within Lost Belt 6, given that she is constantly referred to as like a star, and how Arturia character is constantly referred to as a star, and how and how the 6th Lost Belt is known as the day the star is born. The day the star is born. And so Arturia's third ascension, Arturia Caster's third ascension is has a bunch of lines about like how she has to stop a dragon of sin, how she has to stop a capital of sin from entering, or how the bells are tolling for her and stuff. And yeah, you get the gist here. And then like how Nero in her third interlude, how her shadow self, how her ghost self is like, I hear the call from the capital, the 6th, which is like the 6th bell or something like that. Yeah, TLDR, she's probably going to appear in Lost Belt 6 as well, so she's probably going to make a big important, it's quite a big, it's quite a big one. FGO is also popular in Japan, but I have never done it. It's called a swamp game. Let me see. A swamp game. I feel like this is like a very specific term, very specific terminology in swamp game. Hold on. Swamp game. Swamp game. From Swampu, from what I'm gathering, a swamp game is like a kind of game that's like extremely popular and extremely saturated throughout a lot of media. Yeah, because I remember that in Japan, FGO has like a lot of media presence. Like it has a lot of ads, it has a lot of very beautifully animated advertisements, it has a lot of dojin. It has, a lot of collaborations of brands such as Sanrio and Lawson and stuff. Yeah. It's a game that you can't get out of if you're addicted to it, like a swamp. I guess that also makes sense, too. Here, we call it falling down the rabbit hole, or going into FGO hell, or Type Moon hell. So our equivalent in English, Piero, would be, we're going in hell. We're going in hell. Like the Red Bard video says, you can live your entire life with only Fate merchandise. That is true. That is absolutely true. Fate has become like such, it's crazy to see how much Fate has become like this huge property over the last couple of years and stuff. Like I remember like it was still really popular before FGO was a thing, but it was still really popular when FGO was a thing, but I mean, before FGO was a thing, but after FGO became a thing, it kind of reached new unprecedented levels of, like, popularity and stuff. Ah, everyone's favorite Archer quote. Hey, that's hell you're walking into. That's the Fate series. That's what you're doing by getting into the Fate series. When Sir Ian McKellen got involved, there was no getting back. When he recited the Unlimited Bladeworks chant, there really was no going back. Fate was going to be big, whether we liked it or not. Personally, I appreciate it, because I think the release of FGO in the West was what caused me to get into Fate in general. Like, I think playing FGO for a bit and then, you know, getting into the visual novel and stuff, getting into Fate Stay Night, that was really a lot of fun. And then I just started like gradually getting through a lot of other Fate entries. I still got a lot more I need to get through, but I just really love it. People die if they are killed. I mean, technically, people die if they are killed is technically an Archer quote. I mean, technically you're not wrong. But also, like, you know, that's kind of more attributed to Shiro, really. I feel like, hey, that's hell you're walking into is more of a is more of a Archer quote. That's more of a Shiro quote. But it's right up there with like, oh, the Archer class is really made up of archers, or when you have a birthday, that's when you're born, or, you know, or something like that. No, I know it's always I know that there's more I know that there's more complexity to it for that, but I also find the memes funny too. Like, bad translation and Fate go hand in hand together. I'll try to set the English subtitles to be streamed so that I can be a global distributor like you. Thank you! I'll try and come and watch one of your streams sometime, Piero. I really appreciate it. But yeah, it's true. Fate has rarely gotten, like, you know, good localizations. I'd say that the only, oh yeah, but why is Berserker going berserk? That's another good one. But I feel like the good Fate translations, I feel like you could just whittle them down. I feel like you can whittle them down to, like, there are two localizations that I think are, good in Fate. And I think one of them is the Fate Extella localization, which I think is, for the most part, really good. Like, they've managed to localize it really good, well. And I think the other good one for me, the other good Fate localization is, I guess, later FGO. Like, earlier FGO had a lot of translation issues, but later FGO has been showing that they've been having a lot of fun with, like, you know, localizing the different characters and their dialects and stuff. I mean, I know that there's some big translation issues here and there and stuff, and I understand why some FGO JP players, you know, are kind of more suspicious about some of the translation choices than others. I understand that. But I also feel like that a lot of the dialogue choices and a lot of the localization choices are pretty well thought out. So I have to give them credit for that. Credit where credit is due. They've been having a lot of fun, and it shows. I'll be angry about Altria until I die. Same. But you can't really blame the FGO translators for that one. You gotta blame Type Moon, because they insisted that was the correct name of Artoria. I'm still an Arturia user. I use those interchangeably. I will never use Altria, but if that's what they want, that's what it's gonna be. Altria. Vintage Fate translation is people calling gay bulge, gay bulge. Yep, and people calling raw ass, raw ass. Yep, that's classic Fate. Let me see another one. To address a earlier question, do British people pronounce Aphrodite? I don't think it's a British thing, but it's more just how you pronounce it if you spoke Greek, basically. So a lot of people pronounce it Aphrodite, and I understand why. And, you know, I used to do it too, but, like, then I learned how it was actually produced in Greek, so I'm now like, oh, Aphrodite, that's how you actually pronounce it. It's like how, with, you know, Zeus and stuff, a lot of people pronounce it Zeus, but it's actually pronounced, Zeus. It's actually pronounced Zeus. Or if you want to be extra smart like me and read off of the, Greek letters, like, as if they were English, a Roman alphabet, you go, Zeet! Zeet. Thank you, Piero. Thank you for, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you for coming along to my stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck with your streams. But yeah, no, that's how it's kind of written in that's kind of how Zeus is written in Greek. When I said that to my sister who had studied like ancient Greek and stuff, she got really mad at me. Like back when the Olympia lost belt was coming out, I was like, "Hey Anna, is this pronounced Zeet?" And she was like, "No." So yeah, that's how it is. That's why I pronounce Aphrodite as Aphrodite, just to be close to the Greek and how it's pronounced. Yeah. Do I have any words for Panic the Crocodile? I don't know who Panic the Crocodile is, but I will say I hope you're having a very nice day today. I hope you're having a very swell week, actually. Like, I know that, 2020 and now 2021 haven't been, like, super great years so far, but I'm just sending a lot of positive energy and, positive energy and strength to you right now. I appreciate it. Yeah. Wait. Panic the Crocodile. The current Wonder Egg priority episode. Oh. Right. I got confused. I thought Panic the Crocodile was like another up and coming VTuber and stuff, and I was like, hold on, I don't know this person. Let me just say something very nice. I have thoughts about today's yes, I do. Yes, I have a lot of thoughts about today's Wonder Egg Priorities episode. I'll just answer this question quickly before I get into my thoughts about today's Wonder Egg Priority episode. Do I pronounce Latin words faithfully, like saying Kaiser instead of Caesar? Yes, I do. I'm afraid I'm that person. Yes, I mean I learned Latin. I had to learn Latin when I was in secondary school, so that was kind of drilled into my brain. So it's Kaiser instead of Caesar. It's Salve instead of Salve. It's that sort of thing. It's Nero instead of Nero. Although I guess also Nero is because of how it's pronounced in Fate too. So I remember it whether I want to or not, because Nero is my Fate wife. So yeah, Nero Claudius. Ah, love her. So yeah, my thoughts on the newest episode of Wonder Egg Priority. Well, it definitely took a dark turn, that's for sure, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure, I'm not sure how to feel about today's episode. Initially, I really liked it because I was like, hey, it's cool, they have a canon trans man character. They have a canon trans man character in the show, like, and he's being referred to with proper pronouns, and he's being affirmed as a boy and stuff. That's cool. That's really cool. I really appreciate that, because we really don't get a lot of, trans man characters in the story. So, kudos to them, I guess. But, the more I kind of unpacked it, and the more I kind of read about, like, some of my other friends' thoughts on the episodes and stuff, the more it kind of left a more bitter taste in my mouth. Like, did they really need to show Kaoru getting assaulted by his teacher? Did they really need to show poor Momoe getting traumatized by the butterfly girl, and this kind of weird mention of Eros and Thanatos and this whole being called Frill, who's only being mentioned like in the 2 episodes before the supposed finale and stuff? Did they need to show Momoe vomiting so violently after being reminded of how her pet was killed? I feel like there was a lot of unnecessary stuff going on in the episode, so while it did have a lot of really great animation, and while I do kind of, while I do kind of appreciate the fact that, yay, we have a explicit trans man character in the story, I have a lot of, the more I unpack, the more I have issues with it. And I feel like also, like, one thing I, that I had issues with as I was unpacking with it, let me give you an example, is like the fact that Kaoru's appearing as one of the egg children. Kaoru's appearing as one of the egg children, and the system is one that mainly takes care of girls who committed suicide. But Kaoru isn't a girl, he's a boy. So there's that kind of thing. the whole thing with Platy is, I also feel like kind of infuriating too and kind of shoehorned in. Like, you're telling me that this big reveal that the Aka brothers are like the heads of Platy and stuff are, is just kind of being brought up last minute. That kind of left a kind of weird taste in my mouth too. But I feel like what left the worst taste in my mouth, for me personally, is how we still have no idea what Momoe's arc is trying to say about, like, gender and sexuality and stuff. Like, we know it's trying to say something because her whole arc is about her and her gender presentation, but we don't know whether she's a cis girl who's heterosexual and she has issues with being seen as masculine, or she's a trans girl where her issues with being seen as a boy would be kind of more obvious, that sort of thing. It's like, it's just kind of pussyfooting around, like, what it wants to be. And knowing the writer's previous works, too, and how he handled, like, queer themes within, like, LGBT themes within his previous work has left an even worse taste in my mouth. Like, there's an interview with him that was kind of released fairly recently where he talked about, like, where he was, like, writing, I think, a manga or something about, like, two girls who were initially in a relationship with each other and stuff, but it kind of ended up that they were both kind of, faulted. They were, but he kind of was like, well, lesbians don't exist. Well, I don't know. I feel, I can't remember what he said exactly, but he said something along the lines of, like, these two girls are not going to fall in love with each other, they're just going to fall in love with boys eventually, because eventually boys and girls will get together, being a lesbian is just a phase. He said something along the lines of that, and there's his really atrocious handling of trans issues in the manga he penned to, the manga he penned too, where, like, he, like, had where I mean, I haven't read it, but my trans friends who have read it, like, through full, said that it handled, like, trans issues atrociously such. Like, it was very graphic and very uncomfortable to watch. And they did things like comparing the trans woman character in the story and comparing her, her getting sex reassignment surgery to, like, terrorists, Islamic terrorists beheading people and stuff. And, like, it just feels so weird. It feels so, like, out of touch. Yeah. So I guess my stance on Wonder Egg priority after this episode right now is that, I'm going to probably, I'm 10 episodes in. I'm probably going to have to finish it to the end to see how it's going to resolve anything, how it's going to resolve all these plot threads and stuff. But needless to say, episodes 9 and 10 have left me a lot less optimistic for the end of the show than the rest of the show. I feel like everything after the recap episode has been kind of slowly going downhill. Like, the animation's still nice, the characters are still interesting, but, if you wanted a magical girl show that actually followed through on its queer themes, even if it is, a bit imperfect too, just watch Flip Flappers. Flip Flappers actually followed through. Papika and Kokona are an actual couple. Just watch Flip Flappers. Yeah, I feel like the real breaking point for me in the series is how they're going to be treating Ai and Rika in the next coming episodes, because they're the last characters we need elaboration over. I feel like Rika and Ai have been getting, like, the best writing and the best development out of the entire cast in the show, but I would be lying if I said I'm not still nervous about Ai's arc and how it's going to end. Like, I'm really uncomfortable with her and her dynamic with Mr. Sawaki and stuff, and I don't know how it's going to end. And maybe that's the intent. Maybe that's the intent, that it's meant to be uncomfortable. But given the kind of show's kind of ham-fisted handlings of trans issues and its kind of nonsensical characterization of Nehru in these previous two episodes, I just don't know anymore. Yeah. Yeah, if Koito doesn't exist, I just don't know how I'm going to feel about this. I feel like this anime is going to be like, I don't know. It just started out so strong, but it's kind of beginning to fall face plant into itself, and that kind of makes me worried. Also, regarding your earlier comment about Momoe's problems with, cultural stuff as well, I do agree that that could be part of it too, like the whole Takarazuka, playing up as like one gender, playing up a girl playing up as a boy gender because that's what it, playing up as a boy because that's what's expected of her. I do get shades of that too, and I noticed that as well with like her shifting pronouns, like with her using boku when she's trying to save a lot of the egg girls she's with, but her using watashi when she's talking about herself. You know, I do understand that that's probably why she's presenting the way she is, but given how many flags there are for her, possibly being trans, her possibly, having a whole arc of her being possibly queer, it's it's just kind of confusing, and it feels like kind of the weirdest, like safest, and I say safest in a bad way, to go out, really. So I guess my summary of Wonder Egg priority right now is that, like, noticing the stuff and everything, I feel like it's taking a persona approach to talking about social issues. And what I mean by that is that it shouts out a lot about, like, these really bad social issues, like adults exploiting kids, about corrupt people, about corrupt dynamics, about complicated characters and stuff like that. And sometimes it sticks the landing, like so far with Ai's arc, and especially with Rika's arc and stuff like that. Sometimes it sticks the landing. But at the same time, at the very same time, it, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it wants to interrogate, it doesn't feel like it wants to interrogate a lot of these issues further than just saying, like, these are bad people. These are bad people. Haha, look at how bad they are. We're not going to interrogate why they are bad. We're not going to look into these issues as to why they are bad. And and that sort of thing. And sometimes it feels kind of it kind of gets hypocritical and stuff. Like, I guess in Persona's case, looking at Persona 5 specifically, like, the entire first arc being like, we're against, teachers, or against, like, gym teachers preying on students and stuff, particularly, like, this, male gym teacher preying on these, female volleyball students, like Ann Tamaki and stuff, and Shiho. But, later on, it's like, okay, so Joker can pursue a, relationship with Kawakami, his, homeroom teacher, and also Anne is constantly sexualized to hell and back. It's not that I haven't, it's not so much like sex, for me personally, it's not so much like it's not so much like the fan service that is an issue, although, and it's more like, the issue for me more is that, like, it's stating, like, we're going to call out this thing as bad, but then we're going to do the exact bad thing we called out a few seconds ago. And that's what I don't really like about it. It feels hypocritical. It's that kind of, it's that kind of constant hypocritical, hypocritical approach to telling a theme or telling stories. And I've been kind of noticing that with Wonder Egg priority too. Like, we're going to affirm Kaoru's gender. We're going to say constantly, like, he's a brave boy. We're going to use he pronouns of him in the translation, and and stuff like that. And we're going to say, yes, he is a boy. He is a boy. He is a boy. He's wearing a breaker with the trans flag on it. Look at how woke we are. But then he's being put into a system where the putting into a system that's made up of egg girls, but he's a boy and he's still being, put into this system. And maybe that's like something on the Akabros brother. Maybe that's something on the Akabrothers part. Maybe it's just because they're shitty and they're kind of exploiting the system by putting trans boys and non-binary people into this system as well. But it just feels that kind of rubs me a bit wrong, because the show doesn't do enough to, like, say they're being hypocritical. They're putting a boy into a system that's mainly made up of girls, or or the whole thing with Momoe too. We still have, as I said before, we still have really no idea what's going on with her gender and sexuality like that. So the whole thing about her saying I am a girl and, like, tearing open her shirt to wear, like, to show her undershirt, which also has, like, the trans flag colors and stuff, and posing her as a parallel to Kaoru and stuff. It kind of falls a bit flat when we don't even know that she's whether she's trans or not. So yeah, that's where I feel like it falls flat a bit. Or, like, where it's like, shows all these, it doesn't really interrogate why adults, prey upon prey upon young girls or stuff like that. Just shows them as like some examples of the egg girls wonder killers that appear. Anyways, yeah, that's my rant. That's my rant on the newest episode of Wonder Egg Priority. I've kind of grown a bit sour on it, I guess. Like, again, I appreciate the canon trans man representation. We really don't get along with that, and to have someone who is that is just so rare. So I appreciate why people would cling to that, but at the same time, just like the way it was handled was kind of clumsy, and just knowing the past history of the writer and how he's handled trans and gay themes in his works, I'm not hopeful that this stuff is going to resolve anytime soon. Also, yeah, the fact that they had to dunk on Momoe out of all the characters just also left a really bad taste in my mouth as well. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I really that's I think what I feel like talking about today. Yeah. Thank you for coming along to my stream. I really appreciate it. And I had a lot of fun just talking about all this random stuff today. Singing, talking about Fate, talking about my opinions on anime and visual novels and stuff like that. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Hope you have, I hope to see you all tomorrow for some Undertale. Hope to see you all for some Undertale, since, I posted this on Twitter and stuff, but I'm not going to be doing the drawing stream this week, since my wrist is a little bit weaker than usual. I want to save my wrist strength for working on the video I'm working in, working on the video I'm working on in private. So yeah, tomorrow we'll be approaching Goat Dad and finishing the neutral route. And then the day after that, we'll be doing Alphys's, we'll be starting the pacifist route. Yeah! So thank you so much, and I hope you will have a great evening. Bye-bye!